CAC is accredited by the National Children's Alliance. That is a national organization that makes sure all CACs are following the standards and providing the most responsible and efficient care to all of the children we see. We're also affiliated with Children's Advocacy Centers of North Carolina. That is the state chapter that ensures we have all the resources we need locally, as well as providing support for all of the CACs in North Carolina with different materials and trainings and keeping us up to date on all of the standards so that we can ensure we're following all the policies and rules as set forth by our governing bodies. The first thing we do is bring our families into our family room, and we want to make sure that they have all the resources they need from the get-go. So we'll do a whole assessment of food, clothing, shelter, and any other needs they may have. Our family advocates spend a good deal of time with them before we start the interview and then afterwards as well. We want to make sure that leaving this facility, they're not missing anything. We want to make sure that these children have everything that meets their needs so that they're not out searching for things when they have other things to be working on.
Terrie Hess House has been phenomenal service for us. We use that to interview kids to help us not only to get the forensic evidence we need in dealing with children during traumatic incidents, but also to kind of give them a little bit of guidance and counseling and aftercare for their traumatic experience in their life.
Not trained in a lot of the ways to talk to children and the resources that they have at the Child Advocacy Centers in order to do that for the children here. So the way the process generally works is once we get the report of the crime, we take the initial information that's necessary for that, and then we refer that to the CAC here, and the CAC then takes over as far as dealing with the children directly. They interview the children in a way that's good for the children, that takes care of the children, and also offer all sorts of resources as far as therapy and things of that nature that the child might need once they've been through events that are terrible that we have to deal with, and we do the onset on that. So they're geared more towards the children than we are. I mean, we lock up the bad guy, that's really our purpose, and we can be, helpful to victims of crimes, but as far as when it comes to the children, the CAC is more geared towards that and more specific to that.
We have had a number of children who have been in horrific situations that have had some very sad stories, and to have a place where a child can come and safely tell their story one time so that it can be recorded, and at that point law enforcement can hopefully work with the courts to help prosecute perpetrators, and the guardian ad litem can hear from that child directly their story and understand how to support them and be their voice in court. Many cases we've dealt with have been very difficult, and being able to hear that child directly speak about their story is so very important. So having the Terrie Hess House provide that safe place for those children and to help pull out the facts that are needed for these cases is very, very important for us to be able to support them in the court.
I work with kids who are alleging any kind of abuse. So whenever law enforcement or DSS has a case where a kid possibly went through something horrible, they need somebody to talk to them, and I'm specifically trained to do that. It's hard because I have to ask really hard questions and get details about the worst thing possible, but the whole point is to do it in a way that makes them feel safe and heard and hopefully they won't have to keep telling a million people what happened. So that's the point of my job, is so they come tell one person everything, and then law enforcement and DSS can use that interview for the duration of their case.
It really helps us tremendously with working our cases and investigating our cases, because we can have a specialist interview the children and build up a good rapport with the child on that level, versus where we're looking at it from an evidence-based perspective, where we're looking for specific things, but yet the forensic interviewer can do a whole lot more with the child and hopefully get a lot more out of the child than we can. So it helps us a lot in investigating cases.
This job's really hard, but it's just as rewarding, and it's like all-encompassing almost. Like it's really hard for me to not just identify with like what I do. I have to remember that I'm not just a forensic interviewer all the time, because it really can like easily take over your life. It's hard because I don't always see the world in the most positive light anymore, because I hear a lot, just like, I mean, all of our partners do, that we work with in the community. Everyone who works in the center, you hear the worst things, but you also see the strongest kids, and kids are so resilient, and it's really inspiring. And so every day I have to hear really hard things, but then I have to remember that I'm not the one who lived through it, and that this little human in front of me just is so amazing. So it's just as bit, or every bit as good as it is difficult. And it makes me just want to keep doing it. Like, I don't know what else I would do if I didn't do this job.
If we did not have this facility, then we're looking at possibly resorting back to other methods of, we're going to have to interview them in a law enforcement setting, an interview room, or somewhere that may not be quite as comfortable for the children or calming for the children to relax and actually give their statement. Plus, they're going to be speaking with a criminal investigator who we're trying to pull that evidence out. We know what we're looking for, and we're looking for specific details versus, look, I just want to tell my whole story. So it's a huge benefit, and something I definitely would not like to see disappear anytime soon.
A family advocate is the person that assists the family from the beginning, the middle, and the end. No matter what it is, the resources, just being a friend to the non-offending caregiver, the family advocate pretty much wears a lot of hats.
I was all over the place. I was definitely angry, but I was very scared. I was scared. I didn't know what to expect for me or for her, and it went as well as it could have gone. It was, y'all, I don't know how to explain it. I wouldn't have made it, for sure. The people here are great. The physician, the detectives y'all work with, I'm telling you.
We have a really great therapy program. We work with amazing therapists in the community. We have a really great education and outreach program where we're actively trying to teach people about what we do.
As one of the therapists here, I just try to help the clients understand kind of the world is not always a safe place, and unfortunately they were a part of the part that was not safe, but they don't have to continue to view the world like that.
This is Murphy. He's our therapy dog. He's going to be 7 in July with his made-up birthday that we gave him. He came from the Rowan County Animal Shelter in 2019, and he's a certified therapy dog with Canine Caregivers Therapy Dogs NC. He works here full-time, and he volunteers in the community, so we're really lucky to have him. And he does a really great job with the kids. with the staff, with community events. Sometimes the work can be a little draining, and Murphy really helps reinvigorate people to serve kids to the best of their ability.
And then we have parenting classes, which are so important. I'm not even a parent, but I feel like I should take one, just so I know how to be a good adult.
This parenting class really does help parents feel that they have the opportunity to learn things, and that it's also a safe place where they can ask questions that may seem silly, but that are important.
Stop Go Tell is our abuse prevention education program that we run with children in Rowan County. It is absolutely free. We are in all of the public schools and many of the local private schools. We teach pre-K, 1st and 5th grade. We also have education programs that go into middle and high schools as we're invited. So we work to educate children on healthy, appropriate body boundaries so they can know the difference between what is safe and what is not safe. And then we also empower them and encourage and teach them to speak up if something is happening that is not appropriate, that is not safe. We help teach them how to identify a safe adult in their life that they can go to for help, and really encourage them to interrupt things that are not appropriate that they may either be experiencing or witnessing, so we can get them help as soon as possible.
I'm responsible for making sure that we have funding for all of our programs, that all of our programs are meeting our national standards, and that we have all the programs we need to take care of all the children we see. Our funding comes from a lot of grants and donations from our community. We work very hard on funding to ensure that none of our services have to be charged for. We want our families to make sure that they have time and resources to concentrate on healing rather than paying for the services we provide.
I really think that we should all be more community involved, and Terrie Hess Child Advocacy Center is a great cause. It's local, directly supporting the community and the children, which are our future. So just get out there and help out any way you can. This is a great cause today. This is one of their big events of the year, so I'm always happy to help however I can. Even having a full-time job so you can make it work. Get out there, support the community, especially the Terrie Hess Child Advocacy Center. There's a couple other nonprofits that I also like to work for or help volunteer with, but this is always a great cause.
Today we're having our 2nd annual Bands, Brews, and Barbecue Festival. We're here today to draw awareness to child abuse in Rowan County and to raise some money for our center so we can help children who are victims of physical and sexual abuse in Rowan County. We like to help them get on a road to recovery. So it's important for us to be out here today to introduce ourselves to the community and let them know what we do, and to raise funds and to have a good time.
We are here today for the Bands, Brews, and Barbecue. It's one of the 3 events that we do during April. April is National Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month, and so a lot of the child advocacy centers throughout the nation use this month to really just try to get more of a buzz going and allow people to hear our names and what it is that we do and what our missions are.
Well, it's a resource that doesn't just sit and wait for people to come to them. It's a resource that goes out into the community and makes their presence known, works in the schools, goes directly to the children and says, we're here and we're here to help you and we're here to keep you safe, and here's how to find us if you need us. It's not hard to get involved. It's not hard to be supportive. You can write a check, you can volunteer, you can bring in contributions of food or clothing. There are a lot of different ways to get involved. Some of them take a little bit of time, some of them take no time at all. But with all the different ways there are to help, there's really no excuse not to help.
It's not a taboo subject to me. I mean, when everybody was like, oh, I don't want to hear about it. They know that it happens from a child abuse standpoint. They know that it happens. 99.9% of the people want to help. and they're, how can I help? But it's that conversation that has to happen initially to say, acknowledge the fact that it's happening in our community, and everything that we can do as a community facilitate, these children and helping these children, it needs to happen.
This facility is probably the one of the best that I have seen come out of anything dealing with law enforcement investigations with child abuse. The staff here is tremendous. They do a lot for us, not only with investigations, but other things behind the scenes to help not only us and law enforcement and partner with us, but also to help the entire community in understanding what child abuse is, what sexual abuse is with children, and to work with them not only in the community but in the schools, with law enforcement in general. It's a tremendous effort.
It has been just a big a part for me as it has for my child. So don't think that it's just somewhere where you go for your kid. Y'all really go the extra mile to make sure that if there's anything that you can do for me or for her, that y'all have done.
We will always be here to do whatever we need to do, and if there's a need that we find out we can fill, we'll do it.
I would have never gotten through our situation without this place.